All right, Shalom. Give us a second. We need to check this feed. All right. Shalom. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, we like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kodash.
Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to you, sincere and hopeful elect Akim, pushing the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai in spirit and in truth. And we want to get into a lesson pretty much dealing with the spectrum. All right, as you see the title, and the spectrum dealing with, in particular, autism. All right, and we were talking about me as well as this brother, and during the week, the brother was talking about just autism and how it's like so prevalent now. Retardation, autism, you name it. It's so common and so prevalent. And the reason behind that is because Esau, being the devil, all right, according to the Bible, is tampering with everything and changing the genetic makeup, the biology of the human body, and pretty much what that does is it puts demons on people to where they end up not being able to utilize their motor skills, all of their motor skills properly, So we got some information we want to read that came from off of Deep Sea, and then grab some scriptures and just edifying and wrap it up. So
Just like
yeah. You can read that first, and
Okay.
then get the Edom of the Edom. Yeah, you can read the bullet points if you want.
All right. This is a RT News article from April 10th. All right. RFK Jr. promises to uncover cause of autism epidemic.
Yeah, to uncover the cause. Like,
Right.
come on, who you think you is?
Right. Right. Yeah, as if you don't already know.
Yeah.
President Donald Trump has suggested there must be something artificial during a cabinet meeting. U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary R.F. Kennedy Jr. Has announced a large-scale federal initiative aimed at identifying the factors behind what he called the autism epidemic, with findings expected by September 2025.
We already, here it is. You're gonna wait till September 2025 to find out what's wrong, why all these people is becoming autistic.
Right.
It's common knowledge that it's the food. It's the food, it's the air, the water, Esau and his gadgets and gadgets,
The things that they be giving to the children at birth.
Yeah,
the 500.
500 different vaccines and
Yep.
polio and
Right.
Yep.
just, I remember, as a child getting like 4 or 5 shots,
Mm-hmm.
and blood skirting out everywhere with the needles and stuff, and having to go back to the doctor over and over.
Yeah.
My mom, being a Jake in Babylon, you don't know what they're giving you. It's just, you got to do it for school.
Yeah.
Right.
They just trust that whatever Esau's pumping in you is for your good. And to show you that those jabs that we had to take as children is demonic, naturally you're literally getting Esau is stabbing you, puncturing your skin with a damn needle. Sometimes they go too far and they touch your damn bone.
That shit hurt.
You know what I'm saying? And
or blood, like I was just saying, blood squirt out everywhere. It's like,
right.
What's going on?
Hit a nerve.
Hit a nerve. Some Edomite, ditzy, blonde, white beezy, don't know what she doing, and she moving a needle around, and instead of it just going, you know what I'm saying? She moving it around. Oh, I'm sorry.
She hung over and shit.
Yeah. So, as a child, when you would have to go get those shots, as a child, like a young child, you'd be crying and scared because it ain't right, man. It ain't right. And all that is doing is they're just injecting toxins and poisons into you that hinder certain aspects of your development. You know, that's gonna affect you later on in life. You know, that's why this is gonna be like a dream of a night vision, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we really in the kingdom will be able to really use all of our mental capacity. You know,
like that movie Lemon.
Yeah,
Take the pill and you got 100% of your brain power and be able to, pretty much do anything.
I'll finish this off real quick. Speaking during a television cabinet meeting with President Donald Trump on Thursday, Kennedy, who has previously been accused by critics of promoting conspiracy theories about vaccines, said the new research efforts would involve hundreds of scientists from around the world. By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we will be able to eliminate those exposures, Kennedy promised. He stressed the urgency of the project, citing a sharp increase in childhood autism diagnosis over recent decades, rising from 1 in 10,000 when I was a kid.
Damn. Hey, can I interject real quick in there? I also was typing in some things from DeepSeek, and they gave some pretty good information. Mm-hmm. But going to that point right there, because I asked it, when did autism become prevalent? When did it become so prevalent? And it gave me this. All right. It gave me this chart right here that I want to read. So in 1966, it was 1 out of 2,500 people who were autistic. In 1980, it was 1 out of 1,000. In 2000, it was 1 out of 150. In 2020, it was 1 out of 54. In 2023, it was 1 out of 36. So it's just getting, it's 1 out of 36 people.
1 out of 2,500 to 1 out of 36?
Yeah.
So,
hey, the 1 out of 1.
But it's supposed to be something that's just happening naturally? Nuh-uh.
No, way.
Ain't no way.
The food, the water, the air, everything is being contaminated, and like we said, it's messing with the biological makeup of the human body.
Yeah.
You know,
the fluoride in your water and that they use in toothpaste and at the dentist is lowering your IQ, proven. And RFK was going into that shit too.
Hey, but you know what? They might try to be on some. Oh well, okay. It's a malignant gene that we gotta cut out of your DNA and then now you really retarded.
Here, just take this chip; it'll cure everything.
Yeah, because Esau tries to do his damage control. Right? He puts out misinformation, and then when you put out correct information, he'll label that as misinformation. Which none of this, by the way, is medical information. We're not giving anyone any type of medical advice. You go consult with your medical physician.
Yeah, we're not doctors.
We ain't
We're
doctors.
just reporting the news.
Okay.
We're
hey, this is the house of learned doctors. It says causes for autism, right? Or possible causes for autism. It says research suggests autism is not linked by one single factor, but likely a combination of genetics, brain development differences, and environmental factors like prenatal exposure to certain medications or infections, but they have to put this in, but not vaccines.
Not vaccines.
Come on.
Which when in the vaccines, isn't it like a disease come about, a pestilence come about, right? Mm-hmm. And then they try to mimic it so they can give it to you,
so your body
can fight it. So it's already GMO what they're throwing in you.
Right.
because that's not your body. They're thinking that your body is gonna react and fight it off, but it's a fake. It's a fake host.
Right.
You know, it's not biologically real because they made it in a lab. It's synthetic,
Right.
and you putting synthetics into your body to fight off something that's really out there. Or they could have made that too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, you know.
Yeah. That's Esau's a diabolical scientist, a mad scientist, man. You know, and that in itself proves that, you know, Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that Esau is not going to be, after 1,000 years of slavery, he's not going to be found on the planet. You know, just the thought of just Esau's presence is just irksome. You know what I'm saying? And you know, brothers, that's brothers understand, like in these last days, like just being around Edomites and seeing them and just, they're just whack. They're played out, they're whack. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing good in them. They don't mean you well. They just need to be eradicated from the earth, man.
That's right.
You know? But continue, bro.
Did you want more of the article?
Yeah.
All right. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, currently estimates that 1 in 36 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, a rise often attributed to improved awareness and expanded diagnostic criteria. So they're just saying, oh, we can test it now easier. Nigga, please.
It's just Esau trying to cover his tracks.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to put it off as if this is something that's always been around. It's just back in the 80s they would have just called you, you know, mentally retarded rather than calling you autistic. You know, they're trying to make it seem as if it's
Newspeak.
right. Right, exactly.
They're giving the company a new name.
Right. It's like the Boeing Max, right? That crashed a couple times and then they just renamed it something else.
Yeah.
I think they named it the
Yeah.
Boeing Max. I don't know what it was before that.
Right.
You know, or vice versa. Esau does that. Esau
Right.
does that. You know.
Shit, there's a company for like if you want to get some work done on your house or something like that. What they do is they'll find you to work and then link you up with the person and just take a cut. But what they were doing is they just hook you up with a whole bunch of them, and the ones that don't take you, they're supposed to refund you. But they won't refund you, and they'll be like, oh, we're beating around the bush, to the point where they get sued, and then they just change their name. And they've done it since I've known about them. They've done it probably 5 times. That is a horrible statistic, isn't it? There's got to be something artificial out there that's doing this, Trump told Kennedy. If you can come up with that answer where you stop taking something, you stop eating something, or maybe it's a shot. Maybe it's a shot. But something's causing it, Trump added.
Yeah. And what's causing it is just being in Esau's, under Esau's rulership, man. Really. You know, because he got a monopoly on everything. The water you drink, the air you breathe, the food you eat, the poisons you put on your body, lotion and all that, like deodorant, all that shit is destroying you. You know, and it's Esau the curses say that we was gonna have to go to the enemy for the one of all things.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Jake don't got no sweatshops where they manufacture shit like in China, you know, and it's just for the so-called black community or Latin community. You know what I'm saying? You go, we don't have that. You know what I'm saying? So everything we get from Esau is poison. You know, that's what's causing it.
You know, did enchantments over it.
Mm-hmm.
Did all type of demonic spirits upon it.
Yeah.
Eat everything, your clothes you wear, what you eat, all of that. You know.
Like it says in Revelation, the accuser of thy brethren, Esau throwing up them enchantments. Huh? Okay. Yeah. throwing up those enchantments and all that, trying to put spells on Jake,
Mm-hmm.
All right. The National Institution of Health (NIH) already invests over $300 million annually in autism research, primarily focusing on genetic factors and prenatal environmental influences. Kennedy did not elaborate on the scope of the massive testing and research effort being rolled out or what specific exposures might be targeted. Kennedy, the founder of the anti-vaccine group Children's Health Defense, has gained prominence in the U.S. for questioning the safety and effectiveness of childhood inoculations and promoting the claim that they are linked to autism, a theory widely rejected by the scientific community. He was also a vocal critic of the World Health Organization's COVID-19 response measures, including lockdowns and the rapid rollout of experimental vaccines. Despite his controversial reputation, Kennedy denies being opposed to immunizations, noting that his own children have been vaccinated. During his confirmation hearings, he stated that he advocates for stricter safety testing and more rigorous studies. After Kennedy endorsed Trump's campaign last year, the president vowed to give him board authority over healthcare policies, saying he would let Kennedy go wild.
This is gonna be the Doge of
That's
of
pretty much,
vaccines.
that's pretty much what's going on.
Gonna do go through and checking all the ingredients in the vaccines and whatnot.
Yeah.
And trying to figure out what it's going to link to. And they already know, man.
They know. Esau has done enough research to where he knows what every element on the planet, how it reacts to the human body.
Mm-hmm.
He already knows all that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing has been untested. Okay, even the new things that he's creating, he knows how that interacts based off of what's made up of it. He knows how that will interact with the human body. If it will be poisonous to the body, if it won't be, of how much of a dosage would be poisonous to the body. He knows all that information, man. The scriptures tell you that he's wiser than Daniel. The whole earth was given into his hand. There's nothing that's locked away from this guy when it comes to the earth, man. You know what I'm saying?
And ultimately, this is the Lord's judgment. Because he's the smith that created he's the creator of the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. So if he created people to, make weapons of that nature, biological weapons are just as serious.
That's gonna go into the plagues. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's certain plagues that's gonna come about to snare up the wicked. You know what I'm saying? To catch the wicked, and this falls right into it, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because the ones that actually serve Yahweh Shemel Shai, they're okay. They're all right. The Lord protects them from the certain amount. They have brothers got ailments and whatnot. But we ain't dealing with those type of, those demons. So, like you said, ultimately it comes down to a judgment.
Yeah.
Was there more on that you was reading?
That was it on that article.
I remember seeing. I couldn't find it again. I was trying to look for it, but it was back in the news again about Kill Gates and his mosquitoes.
Oh shit.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This guy, nobody's doing it. Nobody's stopping this madman.
Oh man.
He's over here engineering mosquitoes, saying that he wants to use the mosquitoes to forcibly, vaccinate the population.
That's a demon, man.
They let them
That's
in
crazy.
Florida. They have them in Florida.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
They had them in a couple places actually. GMO fucking mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
They was doing it, releasing it on planes, all that, putting it in the atmosphere, letting it fall right on the people.
Yeah.
So man, can't be trusted.
Can't trust him. Let me read this real quick. This is somebody had mentioned Revelation. It made me think of the scripture, but I don't know if this was the scripture that was being spoken about. But I did think of this scripture. This is Revelation chapter 18, I'll read verse 4 and verse 5. It says, I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. And the evil that's going on here in Babylon the Great to the population, the evil that Esau is putting on the people without even directly putting it on them, man. That the Heavenly Father's aware of all of that, man. All right, that the Heavenly Father's pissed off about what's going on down here. Like the water. Somebody had mentioned the water earlier, the fluoride and stuff in the water. You can't even avoid that, because when you take a shower, your skin absorbs that water. You know what I'm saying? So it's unavoidable. All that bullshit that they put in the tap water, just like what's in the air, it's unavoidable, man.
You gotta brush your teeth with it, unless you want to buy a bunch of fucking water for your bathroom just to brush it over. Like, come on.
You wash your dishes and shit in it. You know what I'm saying?
Wash your clothes.
Everything. Yeah.
You I was thinking it's like skating, but
Is that sprinkler?
If it's spraying by your house out.
Oh man.
Hey, but no, that in itself, having brain farts and it'd be right there and then you forget it. That's contributed to being in this goddamn society, man. We all go through that. You think of something, you forget it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, damn. Yeah, that shit ain't supposed to be happening. You know what I'm saying? But only in the Esau society does that happen. But in the kingdom, we ain't gonna have to deal with that. Was your brothers read something? Or?
Nah, I read what I wanted right there.
That's scripture.
Okay.
I got a quick one too.
Let's read. Did we read Spectrum? The
Edom?
Let's read that real quick. The Edom.
Alright. Oh, the Edom?
Yeah, and then what your
this is from Edom Olan, Spectrum, now, 1610, Operation, Phantom, Spectre, a sense now obsolete from Latin spectrum, or spectrum, plural, spectra, an appearance, image, apparition, spectre, from spectre, to look at, view, root spec. It says the meaning visible.
Yeah, it says to observe.
Oh, to observe. Sorry. The meaning visible band showing the successive colors formed from a beam of light passed through a prism.
And this is going into a different spectrum. But the spectrum that we want and what we're looking at is the as it says, an apparition, which is a spirit. Matter of fact, the Egyptians, when they was getting towed up, when we was getting delivered up out of there, when they had that darkness, they were seeing apparitions, which they were seeing demons. So this lets you know that spectrum and autism, retardation, and so on and so forth, it's a demon. All right. Now, growing up, like we've been saying, we always had somebody either autistic or just full retard at school. Had the helmet on, drilling, so on and so forth, or had the retard strength. It was common. You would see a couple. It was a classroom, about 5 of them. At the school. All right, but now it's more common for children to just be, you know what I'm saying, to be born autistic. Like brother said, 1 in 36. You take 36 children in the hospital that's born. You know what I'm saying?
It might even be higher, because that was the statistic from 2023, which there was a change between 2020. 2020 was 1 in 54, and then 2023 was 1 in 36. So 2025 might be even You know what I'm saying? 1 in 20, 1 in 23 type shit.
That was 2020. That last one.
2020 was 1 in 54. 2023 was 1 in 36.
Oh wow.
And check this statistic. On average, around 385,000 babies are born each day.
Shit.
So
let's do the math on that. You said how many?
it says on average around 385,000 babies are born globally each day, according to the World Count.
385,000. And then it was one out of what? One out of
36.
one is 36.
So you got 10,694.44444.
The babies born every day with autism. That's sad, man. You know what I'm saying? That's sad. But
That's only in the United States.
No, that was
Worldwide.
In the United States, in 2023, the United States saw approximately 9,836 births per day.
almost 10,000 births a day.
Over 10,000. Almost 11. 10,694.
Damn. That's crazy.
So, what, 1 in 22?
Yeah.
Shit.
That's sad, man. You know, but that's why we need to get delivered up out of here, man. We need you outside. You know, this ain't the kingdom of heaven by a long shot.
Right.
You know, but go ahead with your precept as well. And once again, one of the definitions for spectrum was apparition, which an apparition is a demon. Because really, when you have autism or somebody who's mentally retarded, it ain't nothing but a demon that's on them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't nothing but a demon. And we'll get the scriptures to back that up as well. So go ahead.
This is John 10:10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly. You know, like the brother was saying, we ain't gonna have these issues in the kingdom of Esau just being a menace. You know, running around killing, stealing, you know, making up, you know, different potions and shit to kill you. That's really all it is. All it is sorcery. He's sitting there like a mad scientist in a fucking dungeon, looking crazy, making fucking potions and putting it in a syringe and sticking it in your body, man.
Yeah, and the potion is so demonic that the shit that's in there you can't even see with the naked eye.
Right.
But it's in there though.
And it's alive.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a living synthetic manufactured organism that's built to kill that you can't even see with the naked eye. And matter of fact, the scriptures talk about that.
Yeah, this is dealing with you know, it was dealing with the wicked scribes and Pharisees, but it's, you know, nowadays we apply it to Esau's bitch ass, because he's the one who's coming, stealing, killing, and trying to destroy. And what he's putting in the sky, you know, he's spraying whatever he's spraying in the sky. That has a lot to do with it as well, because that eventually has to come through rain, come down onto you, and your drinking water and everything, your crops,
the soil, your clothes, your car, the plants outside. It's nowhere. There's nowhere you can get around Esau, man.
I know you think about it like, oh, you know, I'm gonna eat more fish. You know, it's going. They got mercury in the water.
No, the fish is on drugs.
The fish is doped up.
High as hell. Got personality issues.
Addicted to antidepressants.
Yeah.
Yeah, you eating fentanyl fish.
Damn.
You know,
That rainbow fentanyl.
the rainbow fentanyl, that spectrum fentanyl. Because remember, the president talking about fish.
The Roy G. Biv and shit.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That was it on that?
Yeah.
Okay. So if brother want to read,
The
come on,
spectrum.
that you had the spectrum.
All right. This is an overview from DeepSeek. What is the spectrum? It says the term spectrum can have different meanings depending on the context. Here are the most common interpretations. One is physics, electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum refers to the range of all types of electromagnetic radiation from radio waves to gamma rays. It includes from the longest to the shortest wavelengths, radio waves used in broadcasting communication, microwaves.
Right. So this is going into the different, in particular, the physics and the electromagnetic spectrum, but the different waves and things of that nature, which Esau uses these things to tweak and tamper with, like a cloud seeding, all right, with the chemtrails, all right, the HARP system, all right, that uses certain waves and radio waves and things of that nature to cause earthquakes to happen. You know what I'm saying? Chemtrails once again. It's just a bunch of diabolical tactics Esau uses because these things exist. They do exist, but he's using it for a wicked purpose. And once again, when he uses it for the wicked purpose, it changes the molecular structure of everything. Plants is affected, like with the man. There was a college student during COVID, if I'm not mistaken. They had a dorm that was right outside their dorm window was a 5G tower or something like that. And they always was reporting of being sick, throwing up, being nauseous, and so on and so forth. And the dude ended up dying.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So anybody who got that was in that room, was getting sick and whatnot, pretty much getting fried to death. You getting microwaved.
Right.
So these things exist, these rays and so on and so forth. But if you're using them, if you're harnessing the power that it has for something negative, it's gonna produce something negative. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Think about your cell phone.
Yeah.
Sometimes when my cell phone not working, I can feel the
Feel the
heat.
heat, yeah.
The heat from it. I was like, I gotta put this to
somewhere
the
else.
side.
Yeah.
I can't, because that's the radiation of the waves coming right to the back of you.
Yeah.
Literally everything, that notification, that just all the power, all of that just coming through your body.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
Yeah, they said that it's not healthy for men to keep cell phones in their pockets because
Right.
it kills off your sperm count. You know what I'm saying? So that's just an example of Esau using, Esau has been able to tap into the Most High's creation, all right, and pretty much use certain things for sinister purposes.
Brothers, remember that picture of that 5G or 5.6
and all that.
that was on? It was like a dorm or it was a picture of a dorm or a apartment complex, and they had the 5G thing connected to it, and there was a tree that was there.
Oh, yeah.
And half of that motherfucker was brown.
Yeah.
Somebody sent it out on the chat. I was like, damn. Imagine what that's doing to you. And you could feel it, like if you have your phone plugged into the wall and it's charging, and you hold it in your hand, you can feel that shit all in your hand.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be laying in bed trying to go to sleep, and I can just feel it, like if my arm is by it or whatever. God damn. So I'll take it off the charger, but I do got a big old piece of shungite that I put in between me and my phone. So I put my phone all the way on the edge, and then I put a piece of shungite right by it in between me, and then I'll be cool.
Yeah, but I don't have my phone all the way on the other side of the room on the desk, away from me when I'm sleeping. I keep looking around. Hey, there's videos, you know what I'm saying? There's people doing the experiment of having the phone plugged in, you know what I'm saying, and then going to that other hand and putting a sniffer to the hand, and it's beeping as if it's at an electrical, even this person holding the phone's plugged in, they touch somebody else, you can now pick up electricity on that person. You can sniff out the electricity on them. I used to when I was in the Army, there used to be these big. I was just talking with Kasad about these things actually. These big antennas that we set up, all right, for this. The waves will bounce off the stratosphere, but we had to have like a football field clearance in front of it, and there was you couldn't be in that area for any amount of time. You know, like if you were just gonna cross through, that's fine. But like, say you're there and you're there for a couple minutes, that shit will make you sick. And all the tree line was, you know, probably like a football field away. And that whole tree line in the training area where we first set these things up, was set up there for a long time because that's where they trained them. The whole top of the trees was brown. All of them was cooked off. That shit, you can literally be able to cook popcorn with the amount that those things was pumping out. You know what I'm saying? And that's old school Vietnam era technology.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's no different than what's going on right here. Because the only thing it's sending is voice, video. I don't even know if it was sending good video. It was like voice, but like the video might be a little choppy. But it was sending voice data and video. That's all it was sending. You know what I'm saying? Your phone does a lot more than that. Your phone's over here pinging with location. All right. Your phone's tapped in with Bluetooths. You know what I'm talking about? Wi-Fi's, all kinds of shit, man. Not to mention all the cellular.
Yeah.
Hey man, they slow cooking. They trying to get your body ready for the radiation that the RFID micro C ragamuffins gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just hit somebody with that much radiation; they gonna get sick and die.
Hey,
But
the
if you
scriptures talk about that in previous source.
Previous source from the
that radiation that's gonna be emitted from that shit. But
no, that was it.
Yeah, because that juicy juice is pretty much getting people. It was a prelude to what's gonna come. You know, getting people comfortable with
the appetizer.
Yeah. For the main course.
It's the jalapeno poppers.
I was gonna say the jalapeno poppers. I was gonna say the jalapeno poppers is the tater tots. You know what I'm saying? It's the potato wedges.
Back in the day, the people took that they ate a jalapeno popper. Golly. Yeah. So let's go. So
Yeah,
you read.
So you got it includes.
So read through one, and then I'm gonna bring out the scripture. So start at radio waves again.
Radio waves used in broadcasting communication. Microwaves used in radar cooking. Infrared heat radiation. Visible light colors we can see red to violet. Ultraviolet.
If I may say too, there's a lot of radar and that type of shit that no one's paying attention to. That we're constantly under. You know what I'm saying? For the sky, seismic activity, all that type of shit. There's radar waves is constantly around as well.
Satellites up there. Ultraviolet rays UV cause sunburn, use in sterilization. X-rays, medical imaging. Gamma rays.
Like when you go to the dentist and they put that shit in your mouth and then they have that machine that goes around and that shit
You gotta wear
the
those
CT
big-
scan. When you they make you wear the little
vest.
the vest and all that. Tell people you gotta get out of the person taking the image gotta leave the room.
Right.
Can't even be in the room with you.
Right.
You know, even when at the nursing home, people gotta get X-rays and stuff. Like I go outside of the room. I help them get the board under them so they can take it. But I'll leave the room. I wouldn't even. And then I'll tell them, hey, come get me when you done.
Yeah.
I want to be around none of that.
That shit ain't doing nothing but breaking your body down.
Yeah.
Causing the free radicals to go crazy. That's really what it is. You know, the X-rays and all that, or UV, ultraviolet rays and all that. It's just causing your cells to go haywire, which is free radicals. Imagine your cells being like a pot of water, and when it really get boiling, it can boil. Just imagine the inside your body, what you can't see with the naked eye, is doing that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, cook.
And the last one was gamma rays. nuclear reactions, cancer treatment. And we know getting what is it
Chemo.
called? Chemo. That ain't nothing, but you know, losing your hair, pumping you with radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah, pumping you with
Killing
radiation,
yourselves.
killing yourself.
Hoping we gonna get the bad ones. We gonna
Yeah.
kill all of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna look like powder, but you know we might get that cancer. You know. All right, so real quick, this is Psalm 91, and let me start at okay, this is verse 5. Well, actually, I'm gonna start at 1. Psalm 91:1. It says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Yahweh, He is my refuge and my fortress, my power, in Him will I trust. Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler." Because ultimately, the Heavenly Father, the way the elect is getting up out of here is via those chariots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All right, and that's the covering we need. I was listening to the apostles on the way home, and they had mentioned Apostle Torah had mentioned how, you know, via the thermonuclear destruction, you know, all these buildings, you know, they're all going to crumble because of that earthquake. You know, so that's a great shaking that the earth is going to have to experience. That you don't want to be physically on the earth when that happens, man. You know what I'm saying? So we want to be under the, you know, His wings, the Heavenly Father's wings. You know, Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Okay. Verse 5, it says, "Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flies by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness." Okay, so these different plagues and like dealing with Crown Royal 2020. You know, that was a pestilence that walked in darkness. You know, and that's just, you know, Bill Gates is talking about there's going to be another pandemic and so on and so forth. So we know that what was that? Fauci was saying that as well. So we know that there's something that Esau got in the works. You know, something cooked up that, you know, that he gonna, you know, serve the people, whether they want it or not.
Right.
Eventually, here in the near future, but through the Spirit, hey, if you are the elect, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Okay? It says, verse 6, "Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasted at noonday." Okay? And that's going into, you know, ultimately the thermonuclear destruction. All right? 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. So look at all the people dealing with the jab, the jalapeno popper. A lot of people took that and suffering. They either dropped dead, because I remember they were saying that you had a 2 to 3 year life expectancy if you took that.
Yeah.
You know, and some people held on a little longer, but now you're seeing a lot of people that was perfectly healthy either dropping dead or just jacked up. You know, body falling apart. You know,
heart attack, stroke.
Yep.
Heart
Lots of
issues.
strokes.
Yep.
Lots of strokes.
Your heart is not in the right rhythm.
Right.
You know, you whatever ailment that you had already,
Yeah,
that should get exposed
Yeah.
to the front, the forefront.
Yep. It says, verse 8, "Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked." Okay? So, you know, we seen that. That's why we're reporting on all this, because we're seeing it.
Right.
You know, we're seeing the devastation that Esau's magic has had on the populace. You know, but if you want to continue with more of that, if brothers had any appreciation or anything, go ahead. So yeah, start with 3.
This is bullet point number 3. It says chemistry, atomic and molecular spectra. It says emission spectrum, light emitted by excited atoms, molecules, neon signs, flame tests, absorption spectrum, light absorbed by a substance used in a
Spectroscopy.
copy to identify
chemicals.
chemicals.
Yeah,
Biological. Number 4.
Yeah.
Biology.
Biology. So this one right here, this biology, this is dealing with people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The other ones, like I said, was chemistry, dealing with chemistry,
Right.
dealing with physics, electromagnetic spectrum.
Yep.
Now this one is dealing with biology, which is dealing with not only the
Life.
human body but just organic life. Okay.
It says the autism spectrum. It says the autism spectrum describes a range of neurodevelopmental conditions affecting social interaction, communication, and behavior. Autism spectrum disorder, ASD.
Right. So autism is really, this is what they classify it as, but according to the spirit, or according to the scriptures, we know it's a demon, because we went into the etymology of it, of spectrum, and it mentioned apparition, which an apparition is a demon. All right, and your spirit is light anyways, because it mentioned light, that spectrum goes into light, but your spirit is a light. Your spirit is light. So neurodevelopmental conditions affecting social interactions, and that's a demon that doesn't allow. It pretty much got your neurodevelopmental in a chokehold.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To where it's not functioning properly. Okay, which that in turn affects how interactions socially, communication, and behavior. That's why a lot of people with autism just choke their mom out. You know what I'm saying? Be hitting their parents.
Oh, yeah,
Asperger's.
Yeah. Real violent.
Yeah.
That's one, like you just mad all the time. At it, little small stuff, it takes it to a whole nother level.
Dang.
Like somebody could like drop something, and the person with Asperger's, they would just go crazy over it. Want to harm the person or harm themselves because of it.
That's crazy. Yeah, and that's a demon. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way to classify that as a demon. So RFK don't need to wait till September to you know what I'm saying?
You want me to read this? The core characteristics of autism.
Yeah.
Okay, so it classifies autism into 3 different categories, pretty much. So number 1, social communication challenges, difficulty with verbal and non-verbal communication, tone of voice, facial expressions, trouble understanding social cues like sarcasm or body language, and may prefer solitary activities or struggle with back and forth conversations.
Read that second part again, but what came to mind was what Esau is doing with all this, his diabolical schemes and plans that he's utilizing to jack up people and have these babies born with autism because of the food that their parents eat and the vaccines and all that. Is putting people on a beastly level, because just like Nebuchadnezzar, when he became like that beast, growing feathers and all that, his faculties wasn't there. He couldn't communicate properly.
Right.
Eating, yeah. So literally, that's what Esau is putting people on the level of beasts.
Yep.
And if that's the case, it's easier to control them. Just fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, then, yeah, go this way, yeah, all fall on line, yep, get the chip, yep. Walk forward, move forward, yep, next in line. No cognitive reasoning, no, like, there's no fight, there's no resistance to what Esau's coming with. That's why he targets the youth. You know, especially with this music and shit. But how much more? That's a perfect combo. You gonna have them have all these kids born with autism, and then feed them BS destructive music, especially for Jake, for the YNs, for the Jakes. You know what I'm saying? Just kill. You're a beast. Go out and kill each other.
Like crazy.
Yeah, you know.
Tacoma's going down. Y'all seen that? Somebody brought it out that Tacoma's.
I think Abu Badr put it up on the channel.
Tacoma's one of the leading cities for murder right now.
It's like number 2
On the West Coast.
Number 3, right?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's nuts. So it said you wanted me to reread the trouble understanding social cues.
Yeah.
All right. Trouble understanding social cues. Example given: sarcasm and body language.
Yeah, like when you think about those individuals when in high school or elementary, that the retards, you know, the wore the helmets, and they had that social cues for the sarcasm, like they, you know what I'm saying?
Like somebody that got the Down syndrome.
Yeah.
They probably ain't gonna understand the sarcastic. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna pick up on that.
Cause their brain is not capable of their senses are there's that sense in itself is not equipped to actually like that's it wasn't unlocked. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The demon still got that part of their brain in the chokehold, you know?
Right. Because even the people with autism and whatnot, they'll learn how to walk.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not as if their brain doesn't work to where they can't learn how to walk or learn how to, you know, do this or do that. It's just it ain't all the way there.
I mean, shit, you got people with that are on the spectrum that have full job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? They just they can't talk, or they only can focus on, you know, numbers, so they're in like a math job. Mm-hmm. You know, they're some of them are functioning.
There was that movie, I believe it was called The Accountant, with what's that white boy who's got one of them that we can get shit that was married to J-Lo.
Ben
Affleck.
Bitch ass.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
I hate that.
So there was a movie with him where he was an accountant for like some big drug lords or something like that, or mob or something like that. But he actually was on the spectrum. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what's that movie? I watched that shit.
It's called The Accountant.
Yeah, it's actually a good movie.
It's not that bad of a movie.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It really ain't.
They come out with Accountant too, right?
I think he started, and then he started whooping ass too, though, right?
Yeah.
He be whooping ass.
He ain't no joke.
Okay.
Or some Equalizer type shit, or John Wick, who whoop your ass real quick, but he's
But he on the
special.
spectrum.
He ain't messing up on the numbers though.
Right, nah, the numbers is pristine.
Yeah, I think
human calculator.
I think he finds an error that like the head was looking for, like somebody did something wrong, and he was the only one that could go through all that and find it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It says number 2 is repetitive behaviors and restricted interest. All right.
Yeah. A lot of people with autism just one thing is what they're interested in, and that's it.
Yep.
Or they like a lot of them have to like count things like before they go do something. Like I mean that could be just part of your autism. You have to hit the door handle 3 times before you open it.
Yep.
You know, there's people that are like that, or they have to, you know, take a can of beans, pour it out, and count every one of them before they start their day and shit.
Yeah. Yep. It says repetitive movements. Example given: hand flapping. Hand flapping.
I just
Rocking.
see some shit in my mind.
Yeah. You can. I ain't about to read.
I was too, but I was like, no, that's a bit much.
That's a little too much. I ain't inviting that demon, right? It says strict routines. That's what you was getting into too. Strict routines, distress if disrupted. Highly focused interest. Example given: deep knowledge of specific topics.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah. The dude in my high school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Jake. He was Jake too.
Damn.
He knew everything about dinosaurs. He could tell you from A to Z every single dinosaur and act them out. But he couldn't socially be around nobody. He couldn't socially talk. He couldn't, like, you know, just couldn't. And everybody knew he was, you know, that kid.
Yeah.
Everybody knew.
I got a friend that's a teacher, and they was talking about how they got an autistic person in their classroom, and he was like, "Are you done yet?" Because he only wants to talk about one thing. Okay, now when we and he's like, no, hold on, let's finish what we're doing, and then you can talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Because he can't even really focus on that, but he just want to keep talking about that Pokemon or whatever, the dinosaur or football, whatever it is.
That's sad, man.
Sad as fuck. And it's all in Esau's hand. Fucking magician.
The third one is sensory sensitivities. All right, over or under reaction to sound, lights, textures, or smells, and may cover ears in noisy places, or avoid certain clothing fabrics.
That's all a demon, man. That's all a demon. There's more on that?
No, that was it. I mean, there's more information, but as far as that topic, that was it for the core characteristics of autism.
Okay. Did you have a precept?
I was holding Matthew 17.
Bring that out and then we'll jump to 5.
This is Matthew chapter 17. I'm gonna start reading at verse 14. All right. It says, you want me to read this in the NLT?
Yeah.
Let me hop on the NLT real quick. All right. I was on that Psalms 91. I was looking up that word for pestilence. It's the same. It's the word debar, which is the word for word. It's a masculine noun, but it means pestilence or plague, murrain, cattle disease, cattle plague, a pestilence, a plague. It's pretty bland in the definition. But let me grab this real quick.
Does that plague come in many forms?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a murrain on cattle, or a blight on the vegetation.
Vegetables. Yeah.
Yep. Or even like the bubonic and pneumonic plague. That's a plague. It says plague on Jake. So and all of those deal with biology. The biological makeup of plants or humans. Animals.
This is Matthew chapter 17, starting at verse 14 in the NLT. At the foot of the mountain, a large crowd was waiting for them. A man came and knelt before Yahushua and said, Lord, have mercy on my son. He has seizures and suffers terribly. He often falls into the fire or into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they couldn't heal him. And Yahushua said, you faithless and corrupt people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me.
Hey, and you know what? The Caesars is that's a demon too.
Yep.
Because I talked to one that used to be in the camp up here. He used to have Caesars, and I remember I think I witnessed one seizure. We was bowling. We went to the bowling alley around the corner from the house where we used to stay at, the apartments. And I think it was Elder Barak from Cali was me, him, Tajuan, and maybe Shaquat. I believe Barak was there. But we went bowling and he had a seizure, and it was crazy because it was like nobody was home. You know what I'm saying?
That's so my mom, she has partial seizures. And like what happens is she would just blink out. Nobody, like I said, nobody's home. We was driving one time and she's just driving and we just start swerving off. I'm like, Mom, what you doing? In the tree. Bow. Bow. Yeah. She's still pushing the gas, trying to go. And then she finally, come back to life. But they took her license because she had partial seizures. She had a seizure.
Damn.
Yeah, she could have killed us, killed herself many times.
Yeah, that's dangerous. Yeah, but them seizures is that's a demon. You know what I'm saying? So when what the brother read in NLT in the KJV it says a lunatic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You look up the word lunatic and it goes to crazy. right? I don't remember what the Greek word was, but yeah, it's well, I do have it pulled up right here. I'm in the blue letter right here. So, in Matthew chapter 17, verse 15, it says, "Lord have this is KJV. Lord have mercy on my son, for he is a lunatic and sore vexed, and for oft time he falleth into the fire and into the water." So this word for lunatic that's mentioned there. Seleniatzamai, right? The G4583. It says to be moonstruck or lunatic, to be epileptic, right? Epilepsy being supposed to return and increase with the increase of the moon. This meaning is doubtful, as the Greeks knew nothing about epilepsy.
Man, that's crazy. Cause my dad used to say that when there's a full moon, hey man, stay your ass in the house, cause motherfuckers be tripping. And I never knew what the fuck he was talking about. But then as I got older, I would notice that we get close to a full moon, and motherfuckers with these demons, they start tripping harder. You know.
In the Strong's definition here, it says middle voice or passive from a presumed derivative of the Strong's G4582. To be moonstruck, i.e. crazy, be a lunatic.
Yeah, so, retarded people they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Which Esau tried to make you feel bad for saying it now, but when we grew up, we knew them people was crazy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you stayed away from them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? And you really tried to keep it cool with the retards because you knew they were strong. Like, real talk. Like, hey, matter of fact, the scriptures going to that. Who was that? They beat him to where. Hold on, let me get it.
Hey, real quick, let me read this while you look for that. This is crazy off of etymology, right? Crazy, an adjective from 1570. Diseased, sickly, a sense now obsolete. Right? 1580, broken, impaired, full of cracks or flaws, deranged, demented, of unsound mind, or behaving as so. All right. And then in the 1610s, the jazz slang sense of cool, exciting is that's 1927. Right?
He's going crazy. Look at him. Oh, he can do that.
Yeah. I mean, but that's pretty much the point.
Yeah, let me read this real quick.
Yeah.
This is Mark 14, and I'm gonna say, okay, verse 50, starting at verse 50, it says, "And they all forsook him and fled, and there followed him a certain young man, having a linen cloth cast about his naked body, and the young men laid hold on him." And let me start it. Mark 14 and
Do you want to hold that and we can finish Matthew 17? Yeah. All right. Matthew chapter 17, picking up at verse 17, okay? This is in the NLT. It says, Yahushua said, "You faithless and corrupt people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy here to me." Then Yahushua rebuked the demon in the boy, and it left him. From that moment, the boy was well. Right, which proves that it's a demon, right? It says, afterwards the disciples asked Yahushua privily, "Why couldn't we cast out that demon?" You don't have enough faith, Yahushua told them. "I tell you the truth, if you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, 'Move from here to there,' and it will move. Nothing will be impossible."
I found it. It was in Acts. All right, so this is Acts 19, starting at 10. It says, "And this continued by the space of 2 years, so that all they which dwelt in Asia heard the word of the Lord Yahushua, both Jews and Greeks. And the Most High wrought special miracles by the hands of Paul, so that from his body were brought out, unto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the diseases departed from them, and the evil spirits went out of them. So, a disease is nothing more than an evil spirit, a demon. Okay, it says, then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists. You mind getting this in the NLT cover?
Yeah.
Then certain of the verse 13 in particular, Acts 19 and 13. Then certain of the vagabond Jews, exorcists, took upon them to call over them which had evil spirits the name of the Lord Yahushua, saying, we adjure you by Yahushua, whom Paul preacheth. And they were 7 sons of one Sceva, a Jew, and chief of the priests, which did so. And the evil spirit answered and said, Yahushua I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye? And the men in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them, so that they fled out of their house naked and wounded. So the demon, it was a demon, they were trying to pretty much perform an exorcism and got their ass beat. The dude beat the shit out of them to where they ended up naked, you know, the clothes got ripped off, and they had to get up out of there. They had to beat feet.
Hey, you know how they used to say, I'm gonna beat the brakes off that dude, you know, knock his socks off or some shit? Like that demon, how hard was that demon on them?
So they had no
That
clothes on.
they gotta run out naked and beat. That demon had that, hey, he was putting the mitts on them boys.
And the point being, that's that retard strength. You know what I'm saying?
We all remember that motherfucker in school that was strong as
Yeah.
fuck for no reason. Like, damn, little nigga.
He's strong, but dumb as a rock.
Yeah, but you want to keep,
Oh,
you keep it cool, them though.
Oh,
Yeah.
You want to be that dude that got beat up by old boy.
Yeah. They gonna take the whole school.
You gotta go to another county.
Yeah, you got beat up by shorty nigga. Oh shit.
They got an argument online of like 100 men with 100 men to a gorilla. You know what I'm saying? Like
fucking what?
He's on the level of that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
They gonna take the whole football
nobody
team,
go close to
restrain
the dinosaur boy.
Yeah.
They turn into a dinosaur
Yeah.
bite
Oh,
your
Oh
ass.
shit. He really think he T-Rex too, like,
Take it, just sitting there.
Yeah.
Look.
Really trying to eat you and shit.
Arms all short and shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn.
shit.
Damn.
They taking this shit in.
Stomping on you.
That retarded breath, you know that retarded breath?
Oh,
The fucking
yeah.
nibbling at your neck.
Damn.
Kill a bunch of dinosaurs too.
Hey, Peanut Butter Falcon. The Peanut Butter Falcon. You know, that boy, there's a movie about an autistic, it's Shia LaBeouf and some autistic kid.
Yeah.
He wants to be a wrestler, but when he finally gets in the ring, he lifts the boy all the way up to do the move that, it's a fake move, right? It's a move that on TV they do it, you know, one of those wrestling moves that's you know, it's fake, it's not real. You ain't supposed to actually be able to do it, but he, with that retard strength, he's able to get that nigga up there, throw his ass.
That shit's crazy.
You wanted that verse 13. Was you still reading on that?
I'm gonna just read through verse 18.
Okay.
It says, and this was known to all the Jews and Greeks also dwelling at Ephesus, and fear fell on them all, and the name of the Lord Yahushua was magnified, and many that believed came and confessed and showed their deeds.
Hey, so a lot of people knew that happened, that them boys got beat up. They had to flee out naked and shit. That was a public
Because they were
event.
trying to come in the name of Yahushua, but that demon that was in that dude was not subject unto them. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I know Paul. You know, who the hell are you?
Right.
That ludicrous.
And they wasn't doing it with faith.
Right.
They seen Paul do it. So they was like, oh, they do what Paul be doing, man.
Hey, well, the only reason Paul's handkerchief or something like that, you know, which Catholics ended up making relics of all this shit. They got Saint whatever's cup and all that shit, right? But the only reason that worked is because the people who was seeking to be healed from that actually believed. You know, that's the only reason that worked for them. Because Yahweh Shai said that without faith it's impossible. You know?
That was like, you know how he represents the snake from the that was held up by
On the staff.
on the staff. Yeah, that took faith. They were believing that by looking at that they weren't gonna get the poison of it, and that belief and that faith was able to heal them. That's how powerful faith in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua really is.
Did you want me to start at 11 or 13?
You can start at 15.
Okay. This is Acts chapter 19, verse 13 in the NLT. It says, a group of Jews was traveling.
You can read through 18.
Okay. A group of Jews was traveling from town to town, casting out evil spirits. They tried to use the name of the Lord Yahushua in their incantation, saying, I command you in the name of Yahushua, who Paul preaches, to come out. 7 sons of Sceva, a leading priest, were doing this. But one time when
they were Levites.
It says, but one time when they tried it, the evil spirit replied, I know Yahushua and I know Paul, but who are you?
Think about it. They're priests, and they usually do this, but this time they were trying to use Yahushua's name because they seen what Paul did. So okay, we're gonna use Yahushua's name, but it ain't work because most likely they being priests, they probably they had to have known of Yahushua, but it's like okay, just like bandwagoners. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, dang, it really worked with him. Just like when like for instance Nate.
Yeah.
He'll try to take credit for it. It's like the apostles been doing that.
Right.
Johnny come lately.
Right.
But you ain't gonna pay homage and give credit, you know what I'm saying? So they probably was on
like, all right, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
Why can't I do it? Why can't we do it?
That's what makes it important, and that I, me listening, the way it's read. I command you in the name of Yahushua, whom Paul preaches. Not I command you in the name of Yahushua, in whom I believe in, or anything like that. But in who Paul preaches of this guy, and many works are done by him. So I command you in the name that some other, based off of his merits, based off of his work. It works for him, so it's got to work for me, type shit. It says, then the man with the evil spirit leapt on them, overpowered them, and attacked them with such violence that they fled from the house naked and battered. The story of what happened spread quickly throughout all of Ephesus to Jews and Greeks alike. A solemn fear descended on the city. In the name of Yahushua, the name of the Lord Yahushua was greatly honored. Many who became believers confessed their sinful practices.
So that just going into, there's an example of that retard strength right there. Was somebody who you something? Oh, 0.5 right there.
This is point number 5, psychology and psychiatry. Psychiatry.
So a shrink.
Spectrum disorders refer to conditions with varying symptoms. Schizophrenia spectrum.
Yeah, when you see that EG, that's example given. So these are the examples that they're gonna give.
Schizophrenia spectrum and bipolar spectrum.
So yeah, those jabs and all that, like some of them people with autism be schizophrenic.
Talking to themselves, talking to walls. Objects.
A lot of people who get into drugs become schizophrenic.
Oh, that's true.
Like them niggas that be begging for fucking money right here on the corner. Once you go down, and it's always Esau talking to themselves,
mumbling.
got a sign, dancing and shit.
Right.
You know.
Yep. Hey, well, it could be that they actually see something. You know
Oh,
what I'm
they-
saying?
yeah,
they actually, you know what I'm saying?
They
Something
in the
that they
spirit
talking
world.
to. Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
not
video-
physically, but
video you
like
put out in the
spiritually,
chat.
they in the spirit world.
So Jake was literally fighting.
Oh, I remember that.
Fighting somebody.
Oh yeah.
He was taking the hits.
Yeah.
Right.
He was taking them left too.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like hit me. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know a motherfucker that's
That's good.
schizophrenic, bro. And that shit is, it's fucking crazy, man. Like literally, they believe whatever psych I can't think.
Psychedelic, psychiatric,
Yeah, psychedelic, like whatever they're going through,
psychosis.
they actually believe that shit. Like whatever they got going on, to the point where this dude I know, man, he was living with a landlord. He thought the landlord was trying to kill some people, and he hit him over the head with a frying pan. And the cops couldn't even come there. He had to go to the fucking mental hospital.
Yeah, straight Western State.
Mm-hmm. Straight there.
Straight to Western State.
There's some crazy motherfuckers in Western State, man.
The kid too.
Bro, I had to go there to survey these elevators they was gonna redo, and yeah, the motherfuckers was crazy. They was like, look, they was like, they don't talk to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Don't interact with nobody. You know, if they get violent with you, it's pretty much like, hey, you can't hit them back. You can't hit them.
You
I'm
can
just like-
defend yourself.
But they was because they were kids.
Oh, you went to the kids.
It's
kids
some building that they was tearing down or whatever. They was like teenagers. They was like teenagers, motherfuckers. But them everybody in that motherfucker they was loony. They was loony, bro. I'm talking about like leaning up against the wall type shit, like rocking. You know what I'm saying? Walking back and forth down the hallway, talking to nobody, type shit. It was crazy, man.
Yeah, I seen when I worked there with the kids, I seen a lot of just demons on kids, man. Kids, girls want to be boys. Kids cutting themselves and harming themselves. Swallowing markers and pens and attention seeking, and I'll hurt myself. I'll stab myself with this if you don't give me the attention.
Hop in the car.
Shit.
Just all opposite shit, man.
Oh shit. And go for a joyride. Shit. Hey, I thought the dude I was talking about, I thought he was crazy until I went and visited his ass at the motherfucking Western State and seen the crazy motherfuckers. I'm talking about, like you said, motherfuckers having full-on conversations, sitting there talking, each sharing a lunch with a motherfucker. You know, back here, I'm like,
Want some milk?
wow, what the fuck going on with that? Hey, keep walking, nigga. Don't even look over there.
That was it on that though, right?
That was fine, man.
Okay. So yeah, let's get these scriptures and wrap it up. So somebody get Ephesians 2:2. Did we read Matthew 17 yet?
Yeah, we read Matthew 17.
Somebody hold Mark 5:1. Oh, you want to hit that Job, right?
Oh yeah, I'll get the Job in the precept.
Okay.
You said Ephesians what?
Ephesians 2:2.
2 and 2.
I got Mark 5:1.
Okay. Hit that Ephesians.
We want that Sirach,
Sirach 12.
the Sirach 12, and what was that? 16?
18.
16.
And the
Yeah,
GNT.
GNT.
Alright, this is Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2.
And the reason why I want this brother to read this is because as we went over it earlier, dealing with the spectrum, it mentioned chemistry. That was bullet point number 3.
Yep.
And it mentioned in bullet point number 1, physics and the electromagnetic spectrum being, radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, so on and so, X-rays, gamma rays, so on and so forth. And these are all things that Esau uses, being that he's the prince of power of the air. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead, bro.
It says, Ephesians chapter 2, verse 2, wherein in times past you walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince and the power of the air, the spirit that now worketh in the children of disobedience.
Right, because Esau is the prince and power of the air, and that spirit, that demonic, evil, Edomite, Satan spirit, all right, it works in the children of disobedience. So the 2/3, they really are their father, the devil. The spirit of Satan is what urges them and motivates them to do the demonic wicked shit that they do. You know what I'm saying? So along with that, like I said, Esau using these radio waves and X-rays and visible light, the infrared, microwaves, gamma rays, and so on and so forth. He's using that to destroy everything and everybody.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's a prince of power of the air, man. All right, so go ahead.
Okay, I got a precept with the Job that
Yeah.
goes right with what you just said.
Okay.
This is John 8:44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He is a murderer from the beginning, speaking on Cain being Esau, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
Yeah. Esau even.
And then this is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye,
RFK.
yeah.
Oh, give us till September and we'll find out the cause of autism. Like, you're a liar. You're a forger of lies. Esau is a forger of lies. You destroy people to the point that their offspring is being born with autism and retarded. But you're trying to say, we don't know what's causing this.
Right.
When you know good and goddamn well that what's causing it, and a great attribute to what's causing it is that goddamn jab.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I promise to
give
you an answer.
Look at the dyes that they just tried to come out with. They're saying it's
Cereals.
They got all the red 40, the yellow 7s, the yellow 5s, the blue 40, the late blue 40.
Yeah.
All of that, they're saying, oh, that's linked to certain, autisms and dysfunctions in the body and things like that. When that's 40 years they've been on that.
Yeah.
In other countries, for those colors, they use certain vegetables for the colors.
Mm-hmm.
But here in America, they gonna go to the drawing board and
Mimic.
you know what I'm saying? Give some red, some paint, a different name, and then put it on the cereal.
Right.
I was in the Amazon,
Yeah.
and I squashed this red bug, and it gave the most glorious color. Let's put a bunch of these in the Fruit Loops, and they literally doing that shit.
That's crazy.
Back at Joe.
Hey, shit. What was that? Your raw used to go into it all the time.
L-theanine or the
Castorium?
Oh yeah, Castorium.
Castorium.
The beaver anal gland.
Yeah. Beaver anal gland is where they used the vanilla, right?
Vanilla,
If
raspberry.
it says natural flavors.
You're right. It used to be in the vanilla, the raspberry, I think strawberry flavoring.
Yeah. So
You know
they
what I'm
take
saying?
the anal gland of a beaver and put that in they do whatever they do with it, and you eating vanilla ice cream and raspberry flavor, whatever, but you're eating the beaver anal gland.
Because that's how Esau operates. He has his laws where he doesn't, even though that you get the ingredients on the back of your package or whatever, he doesn't actually have to list everything, because he can just put it under natural flavor, especially if it's something that's going to be off-putting, something that's going to make people not buy the product. He can just label it under natural.
Brother,
brother. Like, hey. Especially things that is found in nature, right? Either from some type of animal or a byproduct of an animal or something in the plant, or if he can just naturally find it, it's not something recreated in the lab. He can list it under natural flavor.
Duck feathers in the pizza.
Right.
Back in Job 13:4, but ye are the forgers of lies.
Chicken beaks and feet, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
All that type of shit.
Yeah.
And chicken nugget.
And your nuggets. And your McNuggets.
All of it mixed together.
Yeah.
Ye are all physicians of no value.
Yeah, the forgers of lies and physicians of no value. Because a physician is supposed to make you whole.
Right.
You know, that's what physician means. It means to make whole. But Esau not gonna make you whole. They gonna put some holes in you.
Right.
A lot of
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna cut you open and all that, but they're not gonna make you whole, make your body sound. You know, that's why they're doctors. Doctor is a false, means to falsify, which is why they're forgers of lies.
Yep.
You know, so all this old RFK people is all excited about him becoming whatever office he holds, title he holds, thinking he's gonna make your Edomite kids healthy. No, he ain't about to do nothing but be destroyed here in Babylon the Great, right along with the rest of
He
these.
looks sick himself.
Yeah, man,
yeah,
like
he does.
he regrets smoking cigars or something.
I think he had cancer or something.
He looks sick.
I'm gonna make sure I get this done by September 25th. Gotta go over much more detail.
Hey, Kasai, do the demon voice.
And he
That's
sound
his
like
voice.
he needed
Like,
Oh,
you
no,
know,
you
we're
get
gonna
absolutely.
yeah.
But his voice is
It's
right.
creepy.
Right.
JFK, I used to be a stalker.
Right. That shit's creepy.
This is Psalms 144 and 8. Whose mouth, or I'm going to start at 7. Send thine hand from me, send thine hand from above, rid me, and deliver me out of great waters, from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity.
Yeah, Edom is a nation of strange children.
Strange.
You know, the customs. They're just a strange creation. You know,
They're weirdos.
weirdo.
Very much.
I got a quick brief.
Yeah.
You got
Did you finish on that?
I can come back to it.
Psalm 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, or in the instruction of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot at arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not.
Yeah, that's the strange children. You know what I'm saying? Everything they do is to target Israel.
Yeah.
You know.
And they lie as they do it. You know, and it's big, like the scriptures speak about big swelling work. They make it seem like this is for your benefit, when its whole design is to fuck you up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But they'll push it out there. They'll push it out there, make laws, have all kind of advertisement to tell you that this is what's going to help you. This is what's going to make you better. And realistically, it's going to do the exact opposite of that. And he knows it. And he just, you know what I'm saying? He's the devil, man. He's a demon.
This buffalo robe is specifically for you, Chief. It's going to keep you warm.
Right.
All winter long.
Right.
Brother,
It's smallpox.
shake a hand.
Fucking devil.
He gonna spit some chew on his hand before he shake. You know.
Right.
Blood brothers.
Yeah.
Hey, Babs Reeves, where he gave him a cup of water.
Yeah.
He dumps the water out to start spitting in the cup. And it's
Yeah.
like, you're outside, like spit out in the grass. What are you going to start spitting in the cup for?
Yeah, take that cup. With your
Yeah, you
nasty
keep
ass.
that
You
carrot.
don't want that shit.
You keep the cup.
Keep the cup. Like I said, keep the cup. Were you done with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Back in Psalms 144 and 8, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is the right hand of falsehood.
Yeah, there ain't a righteous born in Esau's body. You know, the right hand is the right hand of falsehood. Man. Esau can't do right.
Right.
You know.
Right.
One more quick, and this is Psalms 36 and 3. The words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He hath left off to be wise and to do good. He deviseth mischief upon his bed.
He as a Cain. You know, Cain left off to do good. Knew what he was supposed to do and just did the opposite.
Right.
I don't care, man. I'm gonna sacrifice these fruits and vegetables,
Right.
whatever. You know.
You ain't getting them
Yeah.
muffins.
You know? And that same spirit carried on down into Esau.
He deviseth mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil.
Yeah, you're supposed to avoid evil. Alright? But Esau, he's evil himself. How can if Esau abhorred evil, he would hate himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he'd have to be like old boy, that blasted himself online. Oh, that word. Okay.
That were cook his noodles.
Splatter and shit.
All online.
All online, bro. That's
Over a
Esau.
bitch. So that's what we're doing? He had that
That's
shotgun
great.
ready to go.
That's great.
But that was it?
That was it.
Okay. You have something?
I got this a lot.
Okay, cool. Probably yours?
No.
Grab Matthew 24 and 22 and then read that Sirach. We'll end with that Matthew.
This is the book of Sirach, 12 and 16, starting at 16 in the G&T. It says, he will speak fine words while he plots how to trap you. He will pretend to share your sorrows.
Yeah, that's why Esau give you a word salad, a Greek word salad.
Yeah.
A Greek salad, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Them Greek words and long ass. Hold on, let me read some of the words. Real quick. Words like hold up, give me a second. Give me a second. Words like schizophrenia,
Right.
telecommunications, you know, a bunch of spectroscopy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The words that they got a Z in there, a Y, a C, but it's silent. You know what I'm saying? them weirdo, crazy words that you dreaded reading when you was coming up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
When there was a fun lady in the class with you.
Yeah.
That you know what I'm saying? You didn't want her to think you stupid, but you gotta read this big ass word that can't nobody pronounce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everybody can pronounce it but you.
Everybody correcting you and shit.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man.
Hey, but that's how it be. When you're the one reading, you can't read the
Right,
word.
right.
But when you ain't the one reading out loud, you know the word perfectly.
Right.
But yeah, so that's Esau. He gonna give you a verbal word salad. He gonna give you a bunch of words that you don't know the definitions to because it comes from Greek, which our forefathers said that it was better to eat pork than to speak Greek.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So think about that. And that's why Esau got these Latin words, which came from the Greek.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? To just have you all confused.
Yep.
You know, and that's how they get over on you.
His whole science is based in using Latin words.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That goes back to the Roman Empire.
Yep.
You know?
Especially like the medical and all that shit. It's always Latin.
Yeah.
The medicines and all that shit you read was straight. Back in Sirach 12 and 16 in the GNT, it says, he will speak fine words while he plots how to trap you. He will pretend to share your sorrows, but he will kill you if he gets a chance.
Damn devil. What he say to Jacob? You know, the time is coming when our father, you know,
Get to kill me, bro.
yeah. When our father, when he goes back to the street, bro, kill him, bro.
Yeah, with the days of mourning are over, and we ain't gotta put ashes on our head anymore.
Yep.
I'm gonna get you.
Verse 17, it says, if trouble comes your way, you will find him waiting, ready to trip.
Yeah. If trouble comes your way, you're gonna find Esau there first, claiming to be a humanitarian, giving some type of aid.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Kill Gates.
Kill Gates. Oh hell. But yeah, they're gonna be there first, acting like they really concerned about whether you got food and water and whatnot and shelter. And all they gonna do is add to that affliction.
Yep.
You know, capitalize off that affliction.
Because here's Kill Gates. Oh, you having problems with food and water and all of this and diseases? Well, let me come there and put these diseases there, and pretending to help. You know, but in reality, he's there to cause more trouble, cause more harm. I'm gonna read 17 again. It says, "If trouble comes your way, you will find him waiting, ready to trip you up while he pretends to help you." Verse 18, "He will be a different person then, rubbing his hands, nodding his head, and spreading rumors about you."
Yeah, he's trying to. He
Yes.
We got him. We got us one.
Yes.
just evil ass.
Damn devil.
That was a good one.
You know when you know you got a lick. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, I got you. I got. Ooh.
Getting over on somebody or something.
Yeah, that's Esau, man.
Esau is the one. He'll write a contract knowing damn well he's screwing you over with this contract, and sit there and smile all in your
And
face,
make it seem like it's the best
making it
thing
seem
you could
like
ever
this is like he's doing you a deal or
No,
something.
you go to you work at a temp spot, a temp agency, and fucking they give you the contract, and the job is fucking $18 an hour, and they looking at you like you should be happy to sign this.
Right.
This is $18 an hour. What are you talking about?
What you gonna do with this shit?
And you mad because I turned it because I don't want to. I'm good. It's not enough. And they looking at you like you gonna miss out.
It's an opportunity.
I'm good. I'm lunchtime. There we go.
Right.
There you go. It's like man, what? That was it on that. So go ahead though.
Hey, let me read this just real quick, just because this was mentioned. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to pull it. This is Genesis chapter 27, and the point is right here at verse 41. It says that Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, "The days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob."
That's the spirit of the Edomite. You know, they don't look to stab you in the back when it's convenient for them. You know.
This is Matthew chapter 24, starting at verse 22. It says, "And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened."
Yep, and we read that 2 weeks ago on our last lesson, man, which is fitting, because everything is coming to a head. Is evident more and more, being that we're in the last days. That if the Lord don't come back, everything would die. Plants, animals, people. You know what I'm saying? Because Esau would just destroy every goddamn thing, and attempt to get to a level to where he can put human consciousness in fucking robots.
Yeah.
And now it's a robot AI world. You know what I'm saying? Where the elites have managed to be able to put their brain, pretty much, their conscious, in a robot. What's that? Movie?
There's a couple movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, there was one. Dang, I forget the name of it. It was with that female.
What, Lucy?
Not Lucy. I forget the name of it. But that's what Esau would want. But the Lord is gonna cut the time short, and there's gonna be the remnant that's gonna be saved. You know.
Esau would have it where you can have everybody transfer their mind into robots and shit, and he'll still put your ass in hell. You know what I'm saying? Now you as a robot, your main focus is on securing some type of energy that he's charging you for, so you can charge your batteries. You know what I'm talking about?
Because if not,
right. He'll still find some type of way to put the people in oppression, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the hell with that. That's why we need the Lord. We need Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
You know. So I brought this up, brother. Anything else? You know, with that, we're gonna wrap it up. Lord willing, this has been an edifying lesson. Once again, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to you, sincere, hopeful, elect Akim. Till next time, we say Shalom.
Shalom.
Are you on the spectrum? Yeah. Is you been baptized?